Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we're going to do a basic setup of Docker Swarm with a single manager node and two worker nodes. So before starting this session, so let's see what's the difference between which we have done in AWS ECS and what we're going to do in Docker Swarm. So this is our ECS, and in our ECS we have created ECS cluster with a task definition, and we have created a service, and with this service we have created a service scheduler and container agents. So in Docker Swarm we are going to create a manager node, so which distributes that task between the worker nodes. So and the worker node is solely responsible to run the task. So to run the task we have a service. So inside the service we'll have our container image. So let's go to our instance and create three instances. So one instance goes to manager and other two instances goes to our worker nodes. So let's click on launch instance. So here we are going to select Ubuntu server. So let's click on Ubuntu and we are going to select as T2 micro. So let's click on next. So here in the number of instances we are going to type as 3. So because we are going to create 3 instances with manager and worker. So now click on next. So in security group we need to open some ports to communicate between manager node and worker node. So let's go to our documentation. So here we have the ports with type of port. So let's open this port one by one. So now first port is our TCP port with port number 2377. So let's copy this and click on custom TCP. So here we are going to paste this port and we need to set it as anywhere. So now our next port is our TCP and UDP port with port number 7946. So let's copy this. So here we are going to select a custom TCP with a and custom UDP. So here also we need to select as anywhere, and we need to open a UDP port of 4789 also. So let's copy this one. So click on anywhere. So these are the ports which we have opened now. So other port also we have, but for our case it's no need. So now let's click on review and launch. So we can name this security group as Docker Swarm. SG. So click on review and launch. So here we are going to select our AWS key pair. So now our instance in launching state. So let's wait for a while. So here we have a 3 instance which is in pending state. So now let's name this instance as a manager, or else we can name it as Docker manager. So here we can use Docker worker 1, and so we have named this instance with our manager and worker names. So now all our instances are in running state. So to connect with this instance, we need to add another port with our security group, which is a SSH port. So now let's go to our security group and click on Docker Swarm security group and click on edit inbound rules. So here we can click on add rule and select type as SSH. So here our SSH port is 22 and we can click on anywhere. So click on save. So now let's go to our EC2 dashboard and click on our running instance. So now let's connect to this instance one by one. So now we have connected our instances now. So now let's go to our documentation. So here we have our Docker installation commands. So now we are going to install the Docker in all 3 systems. Docker has been installed now. So after that we need to reboot our all instances to reflect these changes. So now let's go to our instance. Now select all three are instance and click on reboot. So now our all instances are rebooted now. So now let's go to our documentation. So now our step 3 is to initiate our Docker Swarm with a manager in one system. So now let's copy this command. So this command will initiate a Docker Swarm. This command should be run in our manager system only, not in our worker nodes. So now let's go to our manager, click on connect. So we have initiated our Docker Swarm. So this is another command to join with the worker node. So when you copy paste this command in our worker node, our manager and worker node will be communicating with each other. So now let's copy this and paste it on our first worker node. So now our worker node is joined with our swarm node. So now let's do this for our second worker node. So now our two worker node has been joined with our manager node. So now we can communicate with each other. So now let's go to our documentation. So if you want, so now we have a single manager and with the two worker node. So if you want to add another manager node, so now here we need to copy this command and paste it here. So when you give this command, it will show another command. It returns another command. So we can, when we copy this command and paste it in another system, so that system will be our second manager node. So for our case, we are going with a single manager and two worker node. So our fifth step is to list our cluster nodes. So now let's copy this. So here we can see the number of instances which we are connected with our Docker Swarm. So the last one is our current Docker manager, and the first two is our Docker workers. So now let's deploy a simple application in our Docker Swarm cluster. So now let's copy this, and this service command should be run in our manager node only, not in our worker node. So here we can see the command. So the command is nothing but it creates a service with the name of web server with replicas of two, so that it will create two services in any three of the machines, and the port number is specified as 8080 and the image name is HTTPD. So now let's click on enter. So now we have our deploy a service in our Docker Swarm cluster. So now let's view this Docker service ls. So here we can see our service is running now. So 2 by 2 means that our two service has been hosted now. So now let's go to our let's copy this public IP and paste it here. So we can mention the port, or else we don't need to mention any port because it's 80 port. So now click on enter. So now we can see that the response is not returning with the port number 80, since we haven't added this port number 80 to our security group. So now let's go to our security group. Now let's open this port number 80 also. So we are going to add this port number 80 in our Docker Swarm security group. So let's click on this, click on edit inbound roles and click on add role. So we can give the thing as HTTP and click on anywhere. So now if we refresh, we can get the response. So here we can get the response from our service. So let's do the same for our worker 1 and worker 2. So then let's copy this and paste it here. So here also we can get the response. and in our third instance also we can get the response. So here we can see our service response in all three instances, but we have replicated our service with number 2. So if we inspect our three instances, we can see that service is running only in our any of our two instances, but we got response from our all three instances because the manager and workers are communicating with each other. So now let's verify once. So now let's click on. So now let's type this command as Docker ps. So here we can see our service is running in our Docker manager. So now let's go to our first worker. So here also we can type our command as Docker ps. So here also we can see our service is running in our Docker 1 instance also. So now let's go to our second worker. So here we can see that the service is not running on our Docker 2 worker, but we got response from this public IP also because, as we said, our manager and worker is communicating with each other. So this is how the Docker Swarm works. And in next video we can see how to host our Node.js application, and also we can do a CI/CD setup with our Jenkins server also. So see you in next video. Thank you guys.